The reason we decided to look into this is because 1114 has become very exciting in multiple myeloma for many reasons. First, because it's got quite a distinctive biology. It responds very well to certain targeted therapies, venetoclax being the most important. And really, over the years, its prognostic significance has differed. So, in the era prior to novel agents, there were some papers that suggested a good outcome. In the era of novel agents, there have been studies more recently that have suggested that these patients may not do as well as other standard risk patients. So our goal was to really look at a very large subset of patients who were 1114 positive, and then use the other more recently described cytogenetic risk groups to see where what we could define as the outcome in this novel era, using a large number of patients treated both in the real world, if you will, both in academic and community centers. And these are not patients who have been selected for clinical trials, so more of a real world look at how translocation 1114 patients do. So for our study, we used the Flatiron Health electronic health database, which looks at data from numerous US-based practices. And we then evaluated patients who had FISH data available within 90 days from diagnosis. And then we were able to define our population as newly diagnosed myeloma patients who had FISH within first 90 days from diagnosis. And we divided our patients into 5 groups. So patients who had translocation 1114 positivity, but no other high-risk features. And for the purpose of this study, we used absence of high-risk cytogenetics such as deletion 17p, translocation 414, translocation 1416. We also excluded patients who had chromosome 1 abnormalities, knowing that patients with amplification of 1q and even deletion 1p do poorly. And so we also excluded patients who were 1114 negative, sorry. The second class was 1114 negative standard risk patients also without these high-risk changes. The third category was patients with deletion 17p, regardless of other abnormalities. And then we had patients with high-risk translocation as a separate group, and those with chromosome 1 abnormalities as a separate group. So by dividing patients into these 5 groups, we wanted to really see how they're doing. So what we found was that there was a certain distinctions and presenting features which were more commonly seen in the 1114 group. We saw that there were more men, they were more likely to have light chain disease, more likely to have higher creatinine at diagnosis, so creatinine greater than 2 at the time of diagnosis. We've identified 637 patients in that 1114 positive subgroup, which is one of the largest sets of this population. And what we saw was definitely that the impact of having 1114 portended a negative prognostic impact compared to other standard risk who did not have 1114. But these patients did better than chromosome 1 abnormalities and deletion 17p, as well as those with high-risk translocation. So the progression-free survival was about 3.1 versus 3.3 years for the standard risk subgroup. And these patients also had an impairment in overall survival. When we performed a multivariate analysis and we adjusted for gender, age, race, as well as treatment received comorbidities, we found that 1114 continued to remain significant for a worse PFS, even after adjusting for all of these factors. The other thing that we looked at in our study was to see how different high-risk features interact with 1114. So for example, we wanted to see what happens if a deletion 17p patient also happens to have translocation 1114. So we looked at all deletion 17p patients and divided them into those with 1114 and without 1114. And we saw that the patients who had 1114 with deletion 17p did even worse than all the other deletion 17p. And actually, the amount of negative impact of 1114 on these patients with deletion 17p was similar to the presence of other high-risk translocations, such as 414. We did not find that 1114 was able to negatively impact chromosome 1A abnormalities. So that was another thing that was very interesting, is that patients who have deletion 17p with translocation 1114, we were able to see that these identified a very high-risk patients, similar to what the Mayo Group would define as a double hit myeloma, patients who have high-risk translocations as well as deletion 17p. And this was certainly a novel finding of our study because, as of yet, we know that patients with deletion 17p do poorly, and patients who have 2 or 3 of these high-risk changes together do worse. But 1114 has not been traditionally one of those abnormalities. So I think that this was certainly one of the novel findings of our study.